Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. Marketa Huzel joining us, the founder of Kaleidoscope of Life. We are ecstatic she's joining us again, and she's here as a transformation coach and more. Really, she's here to help you reinvent and, of course, really, make your life better than it is, better than you thought it could be. And she's going to teach us how to take that breath, relax, and find, what's next for us and find the real us and the real you that's within. So, Marketa, you say it better what you are. You are a lot of things. You wear many hats. So, how would you describe yourself to your audience as mother as well?
Yes, that's true. I would probably start with that one. I mean,
Most important,
obviously,
yeah.
I love my family. I love my husband, my kids. So that is the first hat I'm wearing, whether I want or not. And I do want, right? I always wanted to be mother. So that is one of the most important hats actually I wear, and I'm so grateful for it. And then outside of that, I am a transformation coach or mindset coach, whatever people resonate, or life coach, because I had lots of experiences in my life that were absolutely amazing, and also some of them were challenging, and so they made me move from the corporate background to the coaching world and helping people reinvent themselves and find helping them find clarity and whatever they can do on their own, and see how they can live a better life and how they can make every day better for themselves, and how they can be a better version of themselves, and all that comes with that. So it's really hard to define and see specifically. I am not an coach that has one focus. This is a very high overview of life and what people are looking for, but we always aim to find the thing that is critical for people to move through. I call it their stuckness or unhappiness or sadness or whatever that is, or discomfort or low self-esteem, right? It's really hard to define, because what I find is that people feel unwell in certain way, and they can't even point finger on it, and they come and say, well, I think I need to make a change, and I just don't know what it is, and I just want to feel better. I want to feel happier. Maybe I need a new job, and then we figure, well, you actually want a new job, but you don't know what it is yet, and maybe we start somewhere else. So hard to define, but there's always a lot of exploration to do.
Beautiful.
That's why I
And,
call that myself, yeah, transformation, because it
yes,
can be anything.
heart-centered, you say too, right? But you are helping people
Heart center.
spiritually, mentally, physically, all the above. And just one thing you need to know about her, I know I've learned in the past, she always wanted to be a teacher, became a teacher. So she loves teaching, but that type of teaching really wasn't for you, right?
It wasn't. I mean, let's be honest. I love to help people. I love to see them grow. And I think that still stayed with me to um, the love of seeing people grow and helping them. But I also wanted something that I can grow with my people, right? With my clients. And so when I was a teacher by a degree, I realized that I want to teach those who want to be taught. And let's be honest, we have to go to school, and so not every kid wants to go to school and learn the things that I am passionate about. And so I figured first time that I'm gonna teach those who want to be taught. So I taught something different than I studied, and then switched to the corporate world, because there was not enough challenge in the teaching either, because I wasn't growing enough. And this coaching now gives me the opportunity to grow with every single client, because everybody is different, and there's always a challenge. It's a challenge for the client, and it's a challenge for me. So that is wonderful.
Thank you so much. Well, also, I want people to know for today, we're going to just dive into a few things. And, you have this method. It's called the 5 hour shift method. And it's important that I think our listeners and viewers get to know a little bit about that. Would you mind just sharing some more details about this method and the process as a heart centered transformation coach of helping these people achieve what they want?
Yes. Well, thank you for mentioning the method because that kind of crystallized from all my experiences with myself, my own transformation, my transition from the corporate world to the coaching world, and also with all the clients that I have had, that there was always a silver lining. And the silver lining that everybody had in common was actually how the process came out. And that's why I say it's a proven method because it works for everybody, no matter what they're looking for. Because at first, um, the first are sort of for recognize who you are and what you want. And that is the first step in knowing, oh, okay, well, I am here. What do I need to do? Well, I don't know, right? So we explore who these, who you are as a person. And I'm so glad that you mentioned heart-centered coach because I'm a very logical person, very analytical as well. But I know that if we only give the power to the brain, we won't get the same results because the fact that these whatever 14 inches between the heart and the brain, that can be so important that if that's pulled apart, that it will cause unhappiness in us inside, right? The inner turmoil. So we need to listen to our hearts and also to our minds and combine that together to say, okay, well, who are we today, right? Because we are changing all the time. The second R stays for release because we carry so much in us during our life, all sorts of beliefs and values that we have accumulated and we soaked in like sponges throughout life since we were kids. And they served us because we had reasons why those beliefs or values served us as kids. We could achieve things, but then we get to a point where those are no longer helpful. And it could be something that we are so proud of. I had a client who was very proud of being very detail oriented and very precise and very controlling because it gave her uh, the image of a responsible person who doesn't let anything slip away. But it turned out to be the thing that that client had to let go of because it was limiting her from actually leading a team and being responsible for larger projects, bigger teams, and stepping up the level rather than being in control of everything all the time. The third R stays for reinvent, which is actually realizing who do you want to become, because that is something that you have a desire to do, but don't know how to do because you don't even know who are you become, who do you want to become. You may have some ideas what you want. Maybe some people want a new relationship or new job or more money, but they don't know who they need to be to have that in their lives, right? So it's creating a plan. The fourth R goes to restart, looking into how do you restart your life following these new systems that we put in place. Because as I said, with my logic and obviously I like to be organized, to help people get organized themselves. It's about put this in place, create structures, create systems in life that would support the new personality because you can't just change the habit and assume that everything's gonna fall in place and everything's gonna be great. It's not it. There's way more to that, right? So then there needs to be a system. And so then we put that in place. And then the last one is reflect, because we do need to reevaluate whether these steps we've taken, the personality that we wanted to become, are actually what we thought it would be and whether it works. And if it works, we just keep going and moving forward. Or if it doesn't, we can always fine tune and figure out what is it that needs more change.
Beautifully said. Thank you for that. And also, we want to kind of dive deeper, and I know you're out there listening and you're all wondering because I feel like a lot of us are stuck, always stuck in a rut. Sometimes it's the weather, sometimes it's the holidays, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's work, sometimes it's just maybe anxiety, maybe depression, maybe something's just not right in your life that you want to change. And I think a lot of us feel this way, and we do feel, well, I can't do that. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Scared, nervous to do that. So You mentioned, we likely we're going to touch on why people often feel stuck and why do we feel like we can't achieve what we want to? Do we not feel we're good enough? Or how can we got to talk about this.
Yeah,
Insecurity, I'm thinking, like, I'm in the same boat as all of us. And I'm sure you've been there too. And you still get in the same boat, even though
I
you're
still
an
do.
expert at this, right?
I'm not perfect either. I'm just a human being doing my own work, right? And there's so many things that we need to look into. One is clarity and knowing, okay, what do you actually want? Go back to, the first R, really, to say, okay, well, what do you want? Who are you? And thinking that if there's something that you feel is off because you don't know if you want A or B or C or X, right? Then you need to figure out, okay, what is it that you want? And it's not always about the material things, it's about the feelings, right? People want to feel happy, but they don't even know what it is or how it feels like. And so we'll have to define what it means for people. The other one is distractions. There's so many distractions these days in the world that people think they want everything they see either, or they want everything they see at the same time, and then they are upset that they are not getting everything they want and see at the same time. Maybe there's time for everything. The other thing is that they may be learning a lot of things, but they don't understand what to take out of all that knowledge that's out there. There's so much information about everything that they get information overload, and there's actually no execution, no action towards the better life that there could be, right? The next one could be fears. Fears of I'm not good enough, or I am not strong enough, or I am not um, loved enough, right? Or there could be anything that is linked to the fears. And then they spiral in thoughts, and the thoughts create feelings, the feelings create emotions, and then those emotions that we feel they're not good, they spiral into beliefs that are actually not empowering beliefs, but limiting beliefs. And then that's the result we see.
Mm.
And so instead of, climbing up and having a better and better life, we are spiraling down and being fearful and more depressed and anxious and not knowing what we want actually, because it just feels too much, too heavy, too overwhelming.
Hmm.
And we just don't know what it is and where to go and what to do. And then how to ask for help.
Yeah. How do you ask for help? It's so hard. You feel you just right? I mean, I would hope that everyone has one person that they can ask for help in their life, but there's people that don't. I'm grateful to have only one person in my life, my childhood best friend who I know I can depend on and turn to. But at the same time, she's busy. She's got her own family. She's got her own kids. I don't want to burden her with my problems, right? I
It's
mean,
well, it's true on one hand. The other thing is, if you, which is lovely that you have this one friend.
yes.
Some people say, well, my wife or my husband are the best friends. I can ask anything, right? But
Yep.
also, these people love us and they do have an agenda for us,
Yep.
hidden agenda, because they want the best for us, which is the pure love, right? They want the best for us, but also they want what they want what's best for them too.
Yep.
And so sometimes they don't want to help us in that direction because it may not be the best for them.
No,
And
exactly.
that could be really hard. And then, they don't want to hurt us either. So sometimes we don't get the truth that we need to hear to move us out of the place we're in,
Yep.
or we don't take it as seriously because we already know, because they already told us 10,000 times and we just don't want to hear it.
It's so
Right. So
true.
then,
Yep.
so then, if you are looking for help, and if, there are lots of people who are willing to help and who are very knowledgeable, whether they're doctors or therapists, psychologists, or different type of coaches. I mean, I'm just one of them. That is about having the right connection, having the trust, and the coach and client relationship is very different. It's my only agenda for my clients is to help them to get where they want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any other interest in what their decisions, like their decisions do not make impact on my life outside of the fact that I can help them and see them grow and see them happy, which is obviously my agenda. It's my goal. But whatever they need to do and whatever they need to go through,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's their path. That whatever they do is best for them, and it doesn't impact me in the same way as if I was to, do the same for my family, because of course I don't want to lose them.
Yeah, of
But it
course.
doesn't mean that it's the best for me. So that's why, we generally don't coach our relatives
Oh,
or friends we love so much, right? We can help, but it's not the same. It's slightly different. They need to hear something that has a different value than we can provide as friends.
beautiful. Well, thank you
So
so
yeah, if
much.
there are
Wow.
people who are looking, yeah, if there are people looking for help, I
Uh-huh.
think there's lots out there they can they can search from, but they just need to make sure they connect. And it doesn't matter that they don't know what they want yet. That's the coach's job to figure it out.
So true. It really is. Yeah. Help,
You
help.
know, help,
Um,
help. Just
oh,
connect and see.
well, I would love for you to give us some tips maybe on how to manage, all this and even, personal energy. Let's talk about that. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's see what we're going to talk about next because I could use some tips.
Yeah, I mean, before we started, because we were kind of having the same impression of the last week, that's just been a bit scarce these days. So we need to make sure we kind of get it back. And I think one of the skills that I help my clients with is how to manage their energy, because it is so important. It's like health, right? We think we have it. We are not focused on it until we get sick, and then becomes a priority. And with
Oh,
energy, it's the same. It's kind of hidden in the background, but we need to manage it actively all the time because we do not want to run out.
mhm.
And um, managing energy in today's world is not super easy. I think it needs some mindfulness skills and knowledge and practices. And one of them is, I always recommend my clients meditation. There are different types of meditations. There are different ways how to meditate. And
Okay.
so I teach them. I teach them some basic ones, and from basic meditations, we go to more advanced and different types, and depends. Then we can go all the way to hypnosis and rewiring the brain for success, as I call it, for different things. But meditation is one of the tools that I teach clients and recommend that everybody can learn to meditate. Although I had few clients who told me I can't meditate. I tried, I could never do it.
Yeah.
And so they just need time, because then they did and they loved it. And there's
Mm.
no exception. Even people say, well, I've got ADHD or I have this, I can't focus. It doesn't matter. If there's the right meditation for you, if it's the
Ah.
right tool, it's all fine and it works for everybody. It's just a different type of meditation that they will be more responsive to. So it's one. The other one I always start with is sleep. Let's be honest, we are sleep deprived
Mm-hmm.
as not just a nation, but as the world, right? We're always chasing something. So sleep is
Yeah.
extremely important. And whether we want or not, we have to start with it. So
Mm.
it's the sleep, it's taking breaks actually. I mean, for those who work in the office, it's often hard to interrupt the train of thoughts every 15, 20, or even 30 minutes, or even 50 minutes, and get up for a little bit, right? So there are these
Yeah.
micro breaks that help for energy management. There's a big one that I call managing transitions. And that is specifically if you look about how your day goes and you're thinking that you go, let's say in the morning, you get your kids ready for school or whatever, and then you need to go to work, and then you come back from work, and then you've got family again, maybe some sports or whatever. There are big chunks of the day that you spend in different environments, the morning routine, and then there's a transition to the work focus. And when you're done work day, then you've got to transition to the afternoon family time again,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe even the evening quiet time. And so the big transitions are great places to focus on energy management and regain energy for like disconnect from the past block of activities and refocus on the new one. And always coming with kind of releasing the energy of the previous time to intentionally stepping into the new energy of the upcoming block of activities is extremely helpful. And even if somebody would be playing with the meditation, it's really helpful to put a meditation at the end of the workday before they come home,
Uh-huh.
because then they can truly disconnect from the work stress and duties to the family life, that they don't need to bring all that stress to that
Mm.
next block.
Ah, no. Yeah, yeah. Ah, wow. I love this conversation today. You're on a roll, but aren't you always? You are. Really. At Kaleidoscope of Life, if you are just tuning in, we're talking to our heart-centered transformation coach, and she's really giving us some inside hacks, some inside thoughts to how we can manage this, and how can we coach ourselves? What are things we can ask? What are things we could do? And I just want to also point out, you hear the word meditation, but that could be also give people anxiety. What meditation? I don't have time for that. I don't have an hour a day. Tell me about meditation. And I know it doesn't have to be that long, but I was one of the people on the other side of this in the past who thought, I need to sit down for an hour. How am I ever going to do that being a mom? So let's talk a little
Yeah.
bit about the process of meditation as well, if you don't mind, and how long
Yeah,
or
no,
short can it
100%. I
be?
agree. I
Thank
agree.
you.
I agree because always people say, I don't have time. It's too, I'm too busy to meditate. And it's like, well, if you're too busy to meditate, that means you need more meditation than you think,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And so meditation can be a couple minutes. It could be literally 30 seconds if somebody wants to start with very little time commitment. 30 seconds could be fine, but I generally ask people to start with 30 minutes, sorry, with 5 minutes, and then over time we would increase it by 5-10 minutes to get up to, let's say, half an hour a day, which would be absolutely wonderful and life changing. And all my clients confirm that is just something that is a skill for life. So just connecting with their breath. And I mean, again, I would guide them and teach them how to do it, but there are meditation apps that they're free. I love Insight Timer. I have no affiliation with the app, but I just love it because there's a free portion. They can time themselves and they can really focus on the meditation piece. So, connecting with the breath and focusing on nothing else but the breath for 5 minutes is really disconnecting the brain from the outside environment. And the truth is, people are talking about multitasking and, speeding up things all the time. But the thing is that the brain is overworked. And so what we need is to train it to actually retain focus on one thing. And as a side note, just for curiosity and interest, people are saying, well, we need to learn to multitask. Yes, we have lots of things going on at the same time. But if you think that you're going to go from one task to another and then kind of be switching back and forth, you essentially need 75% more time for the task than you originally planned, because your mind is so distracted. And by the time you refocus and you see where you finished and you go back and forth again, you just need that much more time. So it's actually not efficient at all. And us training the mind, the brain, focus through meditation is like gym for the body, right? For the muscles. Meditation is a gym for your mind. And so it's extremely powerful to learn to meditate and know how to use the tool, because when we get more stressed, then we know how to manage the stress with the meditation and release the
Yep.
stress through the meditation.
Ah,
So, it's a great skill. I would seriously recommend everybody to do. And I've seen some articles lately that, it can be dangerous because then people work through emotions and they're so hard to manage. They don't know how, and they fall more into depression. I mean, if that's the case, seek some help, right? Get some experts, whether it's psychologist or a coach, to help you manage that, because we are humans, we have emotions, which is normal, and we need to know how to process them. And if we didn't learn that as kids because nobody told us,
yeah.
parents were not equipped to the
No,
same level,
absolutely. Yeah.
right? Schools don't teach these skills, and that's why, us coaches who are focused on the mental well-being, is that what we can do for our clients is to teach them these skills, give them these tools that they will have in their toolbox forever, and they can
Mhm.
even share them with others and have the ripple effect on others. They can
Beautiful.
they can help them.
Well,
Yeah.
I also want to point out, Marketa has amazing reviews. Go to Google, Google reviews, Kaleidoscope of Life. Here's just one. I'm going to pull, if I can, however many I can. This one says about you. Where do I start? Marketa is more than just a coach for me. She's my friend. She's helped me look into so many important aspects of my life and helped me understand why I am who I am. She's helped me to realize what I want for my life and for really listening to me and being there for me. I'm extremely grateful. I would highly recommend Marketa to anyone who is looking for a coach slash support to help them find their way through the complexities of life. That's Abbas Abdili, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. We got someone else named Jody talking about how your coaching really opened up her eyes to new ways of thinking about her life's journey and her future. Found herself feeling stuck, like a lot of us can relate out there, and not looking forward to planning the next chapter of her life, which was retirement from a big corporate HR job. Could you imagine, right? Because the whole new identity coming into effect. How do you lose what you had, and now how do you start fresh? So she says the first time meeting with you, she found a real strong connection and was impressed by your ability to interpretate what you were saying and even what I was not saying. So I love how you can read into people, which you're just really good at. She's very empathetic and how could I say, like empathic in a sense. She says our conversations varied each session from topics like career, retirement plans, work. Look forward to my coaching sessions with her and found that her wisdom and intuition, that's the word I'm looking for, were very much
Intuition.
in
Yeah.
tune. Yep, with my need to push and, excuse me, because I'm sick, and new directions into breaking out of old molds. I highly recommend Marketa for her coaching expertise and for being a person who truly cares for her clients and works with them to help them achieve greatness. Marketa, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me. I had so much fun.
Same here. And go to her website, marketahuzel.com. Is that the best way to contact you?
It's the best way. There's a contact form, so fill it in. And if you need a chat, if you want just
Yep.
conversation, feel free to reach out. I will be happy to help if I could.
Beautiful. And again, Google up those reviews for Kaleidoscope of Life and her name. You'll see some amazing ones. There's plenty. Thank you so much, sweetheart. You have a great day. Kids back to school. Woohoo! Bye.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.